This particular crime series that I was watching.
A crime series?
Yes.
Like, what was your career path?
Well, not the crime part,
okay.
but with how guys were dressed. Very well tailor-made suit with a leather bag on one hand. With
basically the consummate professional.
The like consummate professional kabisa. Something that you actually looked forward to when you're going to internship was the salary.
What the hell? That's a salary for an intern?
24 hours. We're spending, I think, around between 50,000 and 60,000 Kenya shillings.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Half Corporate Podcast, the podcast for the contemporary and modern day professional, whereby we'll seek to educate, entertain, and present information to you that is relevant in both the workspace and the entrepreneurial scene. For this podcast, the entirety of the whole show will be trying to focus on one key area, answer one quick question. What does it take? I'm Steve.
And I'm Eric. And you are not ready for this discussion. What we have lined up today is a wholesome kind of conversation that will blow off your minds, and you'll also get to learn a few things here and there, and also have a good laugh as well. Great. So, Steve, the other day, one of the things actually I really wanted to have a conversation with you on was, and I was looking back at my own career and where I've come from so far to where I am today. And I was wondering, what does it really take? I think that's the most important question that we want to try and answer here. What does it really take to move from point A to point B in your career? One of the things that really inspired me, remember the very first time I had this kind of thought about work-life balance and what do I want for my career was actually when I was in my second year of campus. I think that time, what really inspired me was that I was really watching a lot of movies that time. Something that I hadn't been doing for a while back then. And there was this particular crime series that I was watching, and there was one particular scene that really stuck with me. And so there was this guy, I think he was...
Wait, a crime series?
Yes.
Like, what was your career path?
Yeah, so, well, I didn't want to be a criminal, but it's surprisingly, but coincidentally, it's just the only thing that really resonated with me in that particular scene. And I think it's because I was in that kind of space that time, looking for something that I can connect with. Well, not the crime part, but with how guys were dressed. I was really fascinated by, there was one guy there, I think he was a lawyer or something representing one of the criminal guys, but he had this particular look that I really liked kabisa. So he was this tall guy. Well, I'm not that tall, so we'll make do without that. A very well pressed suit, very well tailor-made suit, with a leather bag on one hand, with
basically the consummate professional,
professional kabisa. And there's one thing, I think they also added a bit of drama to it. So this guy was also walking in the wind, but I don't know how the wind was making it look cool, but it was looking cool, and something that I really resonated with. And I thought, this is somebody who's very busy, who knows what they're doing. This is how a career person should look, how a corporate person should look like, knowing what their staff and things like that, everything in place. And at that point is when I started relating a lot with corporate life. So the other day I was looking back from where I've come.
During a retrospect,
yeah.
Right.
Where I've come as an individual, as a professional. And I feel like for me it's been like a Titanic kind of some sorts.
Titanic. Did you sink or swim?
Yeah, so, and when I think about maybe it's not the right analogy, but in terms of my expectation versus my reality, and my expectation was actually as a result of some of the things that actually I'd read, movies I'd seen, series I'd seen.
You were talking about that guy, eh?
Yeah.
With the suit in the wind.
With the suit in the wind.
Okay, all right.
And that is the kind of picture perfect person that I thought I'd also be. And for me, it was very different. And I'll take you back kidogo from where I started. It was my second year when I was thinking about how will my work life look like? How will my career look like? I was very into business that time, into a lot of entrepreneurship, into doing a lot of things here by the side.
This is when you're in campus now.
This is when I'm in campus.
Okay.
That point in time, actually, I was doing a lot of farming, and I did it throughout my campus life.
Okay.
So fast forward, I'm done with campus. There's this 1 year that is compulsory that we need to do because I'm a pharmacist. We will need to do a 1 year compulsory government internship. It is a paid internship. And it was very interesting because one of the things that we actually looked forward to when you go into internship was the salary or the amount of money you get paid on a monthly basis. The reason it was interesting, or the reason we were looking forward to it, was that it was very big. It was a very hefty, or it was a very wholesome, or a very good compensation.
How much was it?
So it was coming to around a gross of around 237,000.
What the hell? That's a salary for an intern.
237,000 Kenya shillings.
I remember my salary I got when I was an intern was 10 Gs. That was like it was like that guy just felt like he's sorry for me and just 230 Gs, okay.
237 kwanza.
237.
So this is a person who's been earning or we've been surviving on 2,000 or 3,000 shillings a month while in campus. Now you are hit with 237,000. Actually, what hits your account is maybe give or take around 133, 135. For guys who are out country, guys in Nairobi, it was around 140,000 Kenya shillings. So this is 233,000 Kenya shillings. So we get into internship because it started at around May 2018 thereabout. May 2018 thereabout. And it's supposed to run till May 2019. So we get into internship. I was actually posted somewhere in Laikipia County. And
so Laikipia, so that means you're getting now around 130 there.
So it was around 133. Actually, what was coming, it was 133.
Okay.
But that's taking here 133 because the first month of May we weren't paid. The month of June we weren't paid. So it was month of July, it was in arrears. So what came into and hit my account was, I think, 266 or 267,000. That is net.
Okay.
That is net.
Straight out of, like, you were still in internship, and just barely out of campus now.
I thought it is even worse. Metoka campus, I was surviving on 2,000 shillings. For 2 months, I was making nothing. Now I'm on 237,000 that has just hit my account. I remember when I was finding out, because there was a lot of discussions, a lot of excitement that was going around people. So I was in one of those banks that you have to wait a day or two. So I remember calling the bank and be hello, there's some money that I'm expecting in my account.
Where's my money?
Has it hit my account? So where are you expecting the money from? So I tell them, I was expecting the money from the government of Kenya.
They owe me.
Because I told them, the Ministry of Health to be in particular, I'm expecting some money from the Ministry of Health. Then they told me, so there's some money
like
that's
you and the other churches. the mission hospitals in the same WhatsApp boat.
The same WhatsApp boat, yeah.
Okay.
So when I confirmed 267,000 has hit my account, I went to my supervisor, tomorrow, I think the next couple of days, I may not be around. So I took leave. I just want to take some time off.
to readjust to money.
But I remember what actually made me take some time off was there was an event that we were supposed to attend for a fellow classmate of mine, or now a colleague. Was
it in Mombasa? That event?
No, it was somewhere in Limuru.
Okay.
So we had to travel and things like that. So we get to Limuru, because I remember it was a Friday. I was supposed to be at work on Saturday and following week on Monday. So I picked leave for those 2 days. I ended up actually picking more. But anyway, this is what happened now. So we go to Limuru, because it's supposed to be an evening thing, and we had done, everybody goes home and they just chill.
Just like a nice chill out.
But now we get there and an idea suddenly pops out that actually you guys, we can actually go to Naivasha. Naivasha but it's in Yapa too.
Naivasha.
It's in Yapa too. You guys are like, I protested but we don't have clothes, but how do we go and things like that? So we just buy. You have 266 Gs. What is 5K?
What is 5Gs?
So to cut the long story short, we ended up in those less than 24 hours. we're spending, I think, around between 50 and 60,000 Kenya shillings.
Okay. It's if you look at it in the context of like let's say the Yahoo Boys, or we look at forex, where the forex gurus, it's not that bad, but
that's pocket change.
That's that's a lot of money still for that.
And this entire thing, I think, was also cushioning me from the realities of work, because that is not how people live. Well, normal people don't live like that. Or in your first job, you don't live like that. But anyway, so fast forward, I finished my internship, and all that is done. The money dries up. So we are back now to the job market kutamak.
Okay.
But at this point,
is the reality part now.
This is the reality part. But at this point, I'm very much aware that I will not get to the salary levels. 237. Okay. So I do my research on Glassdoor and things like that. Glassdoor is actually a good site where you can check out salary ranges and things like that. So I check out an entry level for my career is like 100,000 Kenya shillings.
Half, not bad.
Not bad. I thought half not bad. Yeah. I could still, in a couple of years, still work my way up to where I was. I get a job, I get a connection to somebody who runs one of the big wholesaler pharmacies in the country, and I get a call, and rather I actually looked for a job there. Somebody hooked me up with a job there. And I applied. So they asked me, do you send us your CV? I didn't actually have a CV at that point in time. So I had to prepare one. So I went into one of the local sabers in town, maybe in 1 hour, 1.5 hours max. I had my CV ready. Quickly, so it was downtown. So walked all the way downtown and handed up my CV. They told me, are you busy right now? We could do the interviews right now. I told them, yeah, definitely, why not? Let's do it now.
Okay. You only need a CV, interview pop.
Yeah, so we start earning quickly. No time to waste. So I do the first round of interviews was with the HR. So HR told me that because we didn't go to much depth because of the difference in industry and the kind of questions that they needed to ask. But anyway, I sailed through that first. But then HR and MB now, you also have to write an application letter. And this was before actually doing the interview. He told me you need to write an application letter and also give us your estimated expected salary. Okay. Pamoja mpaka hapo. We're together.
Yeah, together there.
So this had done my research. It was 100,000. So that's what I put as my expected salary. So after doing the interview with the HR, he tells me, now let me talk to you as a man. Chat on our boys. This salary of yours, this thing won't fly. Ask him, what do you mean it won't fly?
It's the market rate.
It's the market rate. Yeah. This is my research. I actually even talked to a few guys, and this was the rate, entry level. But I didn't pay attention to where these guys also going to. Well, they got better jobs in very nice places and things like that. So he told me, do you want to consider going down? No, I'm not. I don't think I should. I've been in school for 6 years. I know my expertise. I know what I can give.
Yeah, man, that's a lot.
So then, let's go. Let's go now. We're going now to do now the second round of interviews. So it was a very fast thing. And we're doing this interview now with the owner of the company, of the organization. So he saw my CV because HR had written some notes over there, handed over the notes. He went through while I was still there looking at him. I got to the salary part. I'm telling you, Steve, this guy even we stopped even conversing in English. Started talking the logo of Murima.
Oh my God.
There's no way we're able to offer you this salary. I couldn't understand that because I felt like there's value I'm bringing.
Yeah.
I understand.
In school 6 years, bro.
School 6 years. Yeah. So I asked, then what is the offer that you guys have? What is the rate? What is the offer that you have? Can I ask guys, we only give you 33,000 Kenya shillings as gross. So I asked Kwanza. I felt because I went into a trance. I actually felt like I've gone into a trance. I hadn't had right.
That is what you're saying when you say vitu kwa ground is different.
Vitu kwa ground. So actually, pardon, you said 33,000 gross? Yeah, 33,000 gross. So what do you think about that? I looked at him, nikamwambia, actually even giving a sigh. I think I'll need time. Just think about it. There's no way else we can be able to negotiate.
Yeah.
And I think that's the mistake I made number one. Because I should have countered by asking, my rebuttal should have been the value that I'm providing, not asking whether we can negotiate. They can negotiate further. I should have brought in my value first as a way of negotiating. I didn't do that. So I will go downstairs and think about this kind of offer, then call a few guys, people who I trust, who I think. And I called one of my mentors and told him, these guys have given me 33,000. So he asked me, is there anything else you're doing right now? I mean, no, there's nothing else I'm doing right now. But I have these other side hustles and things like that.
The farming stuff.
The farming stuff that I'm doing. So then, if you don't have anything that is going on, why don't you just pick the job as a learning curve? And so you also don't have a lot of gap time on your CV and everything.
The classic trap whereby you're told you'll get experience.
Give you a platform.
Give you a platform.
So these are
experience.
You interact with a lot of things. You learn a lot of things. Well, I don't know if it's a trap, but you do learn a lot.
you do.
You learn a lot.
It's just unfair that they don't compensate you. As you should have. Yeah.
As you should actually. So I go back up and tell them, well, I'll pick the 33,000. I said, no, when can you start? I can remember it was a Wednesday going to a Thursday. So maybe next week on. I remember that time I was working in 33,000. When I went into a mini trance, I was actually unwell. I was battling a bout of H. pylori. So combining that
and combining also with I'm sure your heart was unwell. You say your pocket was unwell now.
My pocket was also unwell. So combining that and this new reality, let me just start next week on Monday. I didn't even last a day in that new job. I even didn't last a day.
What happened? You decided no?
Actually, so what happened was that I reported to work, and it was somewhere in Rongai, and I was commuting all the way from Kasarani. You know, between that time when I
wait. You were saying at Rongai. You're working.
I'm living in Kasarani.
You're living in Kasarani.
Yeah.
You are working in Rongai.
My new station of work should be Rongai.
So you're commuting from Kasarani to Rongai every day?
Every day.
How many matatus were those?
Those were 2 matatus.
2 matatus. Matatus are Rongai. I hear it's about 200 shillings or 50 shillings.
Exactly.
And with 33,000.
And in 33.
So basically you were being paid for transport.
It was just covering my transport. And this is the reality that was actually dawning on me between Wednesday and reporting to work on Monday. And this is when I actually felt like I made a mistake when it came to negotiating. You understand? So there are a lot of factors that I didn't take into consideration. But anyway, I didn't last a day. But I report to work on Monday.
Okay, I'm curious. Why didn't you last a day?
So I told you I had a bout of H. pylori that had gone misdiagnosed for like 2 months.
And you are a pharmacist.
And I'm a pharmacist.
Okay, we leave that.
But you know, many times actually I wouldn't even laugh, because if I laughed, I would start coughing and non-stop and not stop coughing.
Okay.
And I think that is what was actually getting misdiagnosed.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, I report to work on Monday, and I'm sure you're going to a pharmacy, to these local pharmacies, Ukaona. There's how that pharmacy is set up. There's the dispensing area that is where now you get handed your drugs and everything, you do your payment and everything. But there's a behind part. And the behind part is usually mostly we have prescription-only medicines. By law, that's where they're supposed to be.
Okay.
So going back there, that's where I start my learning from. So I did the guy again and Sasa. Before we start dispensing, you need to go back at the dispensing area, get to learn the drugs, where they've been put, and things like that, know what we have in stock, so that whenever you're talking to a customer or a client, you know exactly what is available, what is not available. So me go back. Remember this time, I'm still battling my H. pylori. It's so bad. And still misdiagnosed. It was so bad, each time I would feel like going to pee in the washroom, I would get dizzy.
Okay.
I'll get really, really dizzy. So at this point, I'm doing my reading and knowing whatever it is that is there at the backstage of the back, in the dispensing area. I feel like peeing, so I go and pee, but immediately start feeling dizzy. So I can't even get up. So I actually put down the toilet seat and sit on it. I sit on the toilet seat so that at least nature could scare dizzy. Because standing is even a problem at this point.
So you're battling H. pylori, you're battling that 3,000 gross.
I'm battling this new reality, everything. Knowing that then by that time, because I've taken 2 matatus, I'm tired. I actually got to the office or to the pharmacy sweating, and I'm feeling terrible. And it was a bad day to be at work. So those guys decided, okay, there's a clinic behind here. Let's take you there for just a checkup and everything. Man, so we jumped over trenches and sewages to go to that clinic. You guys, man, I really don't think so. I don't think I'm going here.
I may have H. pylori, but when you're taking me, I feel like it's going to be worse.
Yeah, it's going to be worse now. I'm going to contract more H. pylori. So I decided, let me go back to proper. So I go into one of these hospitals in Nairobi. They stitch me up and things like that. That's why I actually diagnosed with H. pylori. Now here's the interesting bit, is that because they had allowed me to go home because I'm sick, and I started my medication. But the interesting thing here is that mi nilienda nikiendanga.
Okay. You are like, this hassle is not worth.
It's not worth it.
Yeah.
And during my stay, because H. pylori treatment takes around 2 weeks for the most intense part, then another 2 weeks for I think some form of maintenance.
So basically, you got like 4 weeks off, or you're supposed to get 4 weeks off?
I was supposed to get 2 weeks off. Then the last 2 weeks, I was supposed to take it easy.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe just go in the morning, nap the entire day, then go back home maybe in the afternoon. So me, when I sat down in those 2 weeks, nikajita mkutano. So nikasema acha niongee nitoke. Acha niongee nitoke. So I decided, the math is in mathing. The amount of money that I'm spending on the road, vis-a-vis what I'm doing, there's nothing really I'm doing. You understand? And the error I made is that I didn't tell them I'm not coming back. And here's the twist. Years later, because I got into a new job and things like that, actually came and met the owner of this organization who was supposed to get into a project.
Oh my. And
he actually reminded me that, but then you went and never told us you're not coming back.
Wow. Was that weird?
Very weird. But the good thing is that because he was a relative, then somehow he was able to understand. But what are some of the lessons that I
did you tell him you almost died for
his organization? I was too quiet for the team. Yeah, but anyway, so I told him that I got unwell, and I think I told you up front, I think I didn't negotiate my pay very well at that point in time. And that's one of the most important things I came to learn, is that, there's nothing you lose when you actually negotiate what you feel you're worth. You understand? I think I was too afraid of losing that opportunity that I didn't negotiate. And I think many other times people find themselves in that kind of space. You haven't negotiated well because unafikiria this job will actually slip my way, slip under me, because I'm asking for more. But people get to understand what is your worth.
I think the critical part is we tend to not look at the value you're bringing to the company, and we are kind of scared of, saying no to something which is, in a lack of a better word, exploitative of your talents, because you feel like, if I don't get this, it's my first job, or I've been out in the job market for a while. So there's that kind of pressure for you to acquiesce to any request that comes your way.
And I feel like it limits you a lot. There's a lot of opportunities you lose because of that. But then again, this was the reality. From 237,000
to
33 G's.
Bruh. Oof. I would have, I don't know, I would have taken like a receipt. Can you do a receipt for your 1 year, like you say for him?
But anyway, I went on to get another job, and I think I didn't get the job at that 100,000, but of course it wasn't 33,000 this time. I was able to negotiate my way into a bit better pay.
Okay.
And one of the most important things that actually came out of that was that it's important for you to also have career objectives. You don't want to fall for anything and everything, because you need to know, what do I need to do? And it's a very important question we're asking ourselves in this podcast. What does it take to get there? What does it take to get there? So what are some of the important objectives, or the importance of having career objectives that you need to have as you navigate your career life? I think one of the most important, is as I mentioned, you don't fall for anything and everything, and it gives you direction, gives you a sense of direction, a sense of purpose. Yeah.
And it's also key because when it's more like a like a roadmap. So if you have your objectives, if you have your principles and directions in line in regards to your career, you know what you need to do to get where you want to be. Because like everything else in life, it's a process. So probably you know, like, I'll start at this for me to go to this is the amount of hours that are required for me. These are the KPIs that I need. These are probably, you can say, the upskilling subjects or things you need to learn along the way so that you're able to progress through your career. As long as you have that roadmap, at least it gives you a guide into what you're supposed to do, some direction into it.
It also keeps you motivated because after this what comes next. So you put in the work, you put in the effort, you put in the time. Because in this currently with this digital age that we are in, you can easily also share with the world what exactly are your successes, your achievements, and that gets you noticed.
Exactly.
And if it gets you noticed, if I'm doing this, I want to do it more. So I want to get noticed. So you're motivated to do what you want to do. So that the next person or the next place you want to go to, people are able to. The guys will need people like you able to see you. So I think that for me was a very interesting space that I was in at that particular point in time, and learning. These were my expectations, but this is the reality. And how you're able to work.
It was 133,000
net
versus 33 gross.
Versus 33 gross.
Yeah.
Put in perspective, 237 versus 33,000. Gross. It's a big gross. So
in this day and age, Shia. I wonder what it would have been. Housing levy.
My goodness. Yeah, but I think it was a learning curve, and I was able to learn, take it all in, be patient with everything, and I think it also applies in people, even in business. You may not be having the current income that you want to have at your business, but it doesn't mean that is where you'll always be. You understand? So there's also an opportunity for you to really grow your income, grow your income levels, as I mentioned. There's one guy I was actually listening to the other day on TikTok. He was saying, I think it's called Mohammed Tazan or something. He was saying that many other times, and this is for the business owners and people in business, is that many other times you actually get involved, you get lost into the business, and you forget that you're the one who's supposed to actually drive the strategy. And that's why many other times you actually get to hear that you may be a great baker or a great mechanic,
but you're not a good business person.
Because you find that you need to work on HR things, especially if you're a small business. HR, doing the payroll, creating the strategy, and things like that. So, very interesting conversation that we have had here, and for anybody who's listening, the most important thing is that be aware of the expectation that there's a reality, but that doesn't mean that you're stuck where you are. You can move forward.
Know your value. Know how to negotiate. And I think also another key thing which we tend to overlook is know when to say no sometimes.
To say no.
It's better not to be taken advantage of, but it's a hard balance depending on the situation that you're in. That's a wrap for this episode of the Half Corporate podcast, where we've been discussing expectations versus reality. A big shout out to the Half Corporate team for pulling this together. Special shout out to Tevin, to Lucas, and to Mercy. You guys have been amazing.
Stay connected with us on all socials at Half Corporate. Slide into our DMs with your thoughts and questions, or just to say what's up. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the pod with your workmates or that one friend who keeps talking about starting their own thing but hasn't yet. Until next time, keep it balanced.